time understanding one, of course, current. Current is net transfer of a charge across a cross section. And then we also try to understand what happens in case of conductor, which is free electron. When there's no field, they have random velocity, which gives you, if you take an average of random velocity, it comes to 0. But if you apply a field, it exerts a force on electrons opposite to direction of field, creates a acceleration, and net result of acceleration, if you look at the macro level, is it gives a kind of constant velocity to all electrons called drift velocity. So in addition to random velocity, which can be ignored for average result, but drift velocity on account of field, we calculated the drift velocity is equal to acceleration into time. Acceleration is force by mass, which is charge E into capital E divided by M is acceleration. And what is the time we have taken? The time, average time for which acceleration is active, which we define as relaxation time or tau, time since it has undergone last collision. So that's what we'll keep in mind. Drift velocity is equal to acceleration into tau. Tau is the mean time since last collision, or also called relaxation velocity. And acceleration is equal to force by mass. So we'll correlate drift velocity to current. That's what we are going to do today, and some more. So first part is starting with this. Let's consider how we link drift velocity to current. Let's say consider a cylindrical conductor, which is shown in the figure here, and it has a cross-section area A, and field is applied towards right. Moment you apply field towards right, force on electrons will start acting towards left, and it will create a drift velocity. The field will cause free electrons to drift opposite to its direction with the speed equal to Vd. So just imagine all electrons, free electrons which are present, start moving towards left with the drift velocity equal to Vd. We know what is Vd equal to acceleration into time, small e into capital E divided by mass of electron into tau. So what is the current through any cross section? So let's take, if this is the conductor, if we take a cross section like this, what is the current through this conductor? So before we start calculating current, we have to think how do we calculate current? Is net transfer of a charge in unit time or rate of transfer of charge. So let's see if
we multiply by time, we get volume of charge.
Yeah, let's see that. So basically, let's do one by one. So we can, some of them quickly correlate. Since the charges are moving, what will happen? There will net transfer from right side to left side. Let's do that one by one, step by step. Let's do it carefully. Let's see what will happen during time interval delta t. If you take time delta t, all free electrons will drift by a distance equal to velocity into time towards left. So let's see. So there are numerous of them. But just to understand, we have drawn free electrons, few of those electrons. What does arrow indicate here? Arrow indicates the displacement. So if we take time delta t, each one of them, the length of the arrow being same, each electron has drifted by a distance equal to Vd into delta t. But what you notice, some electrons which are closer to the cross section, some electrons which are closer to the cross section have moved across the cross section. The one which are far have not moved across. So we will see the effect of that. So what happened during the time, all free electrons which are within the distance of displacement, which is equal to Vd into delta t, on the right of the area will cross it. So other way of stating is, let's say if Vd into delta t comes to 5 centimeters. If they have the displacement under time delta t is 5 centimeter, which is Vd into delta t. Electron, which is a distance of 2 centimeter will cross, 4 centimeter will cross, 4.9 centimeter also will cross, but 5.1 centimeter will not cross. So that's what we have put in form of statement. During a time interval delta t, all free electrons within a distance Vd into delta t on the right of area will cross, and which is easy to understand from the figure also. So how many electrons will cross? All free electrons which are present within the length equal to Vd delta t. Length is Vd delta t, cross section is A. So all electrons which are present in a volume equal to area of cross section into Vd delta t will cross. We have come to the simpler expression, this expression of, so let's define how many electrons are there per unit volume. Let's define, let n be the number of free electrons per unit volume. If you take volume V, number of electrons will be n into V, and charge of all electrons will be number into charge of each electron, which will be n e into V. What we understand, n is the number of free electrons per volume. What will the charge per unit volume? Charge will be n into E. Charge per unit volume will be N into E. N is the number of free electrons per volume. And how many free electrons are there per unit volume is a property of the material. We'll see that later. So can we extend this further? So here, what is delta Q charge crossing? Is charge present in length Vd delta T, charge present in volume Vd. So let's write this term. It is equal to N is number. So N into volume will give the total number of electrons which are present in the volume. Multiplied by E gives the charge present within the volume equal to Vd into delta T into area. So what is dQ? NE Vd delta T into area. So this is in time delta T. What is charge crossing per unit time? That's current. So delta Q by delta T NEA Vd. That's the current. And that's a formula we should always remember. So current in terms of drift velocity of electron is NEA Vd. So what does we understand from here? E indicates charge on each electron. If number of, like this is something number density, number of electrons per unit volume. If this number is more, actually this number, the more number of electrons present per unit volume, of course current will be more for same field. And of course as area increases also volume increases, current will increase. And it also indicates current is proportional to Vd. If drift velocity becomes more, current also will become more. If drift velocity becomes double, current also becomes double. So this is what NEA Vd is the current. Now we can, if this is current, we have also discussed a term called current density. If you divide current by area, it becomes current density. If divide this term by area, it becomes NE into Vd. Now what we do, substitute Vd in terms of other parameters. What does Vd? Vd is acceleration into time. E small e into capital divided by m into tau. So when we look at this term, see this E is the external agent which is causing this current to flow. So all other terms, N is also property of the material, E square is a constant, M is also constant, tau also is property of the material. So all these terms we combine into one constant called sigma here. And sigma is the term called conductivity. It gives a relationship between two vector quantities. What did it tell you? So current density is sigma times the field. If it's directly proportional to field, and sigma is a property of material. We'll come to that sigma again in little more detail. That's called conductivity. Higher the value of conductivity, greater the current density is, and greater the current will be. So let's look at this. Does it make logical sense? What are the terms conductivity depends on? Conductivity depends on charge density, electron density. Does it make sense? If more number of electrons are there, current will be more. If number of electrons are less, of course the current will become less. And it varies as a square of charge on electron. Why does it vary as a square of charge electron? And it also varies as tau. What is tau here?
The charge on electron is constant, right?
Charge electron is a constant. So this N will depend on the material. N will depend on what? How many free electrons are present. We'll come to some numerical also. We'll understand N terms better. N appears to be, if at a constant temperature for a given material, N is a constant. This also E square also is this of course is a universal constant kind of thing, and mass of electron also is constant. Only N value and tau value will depend on the material. N value and tau value will depend on the material, and that would affect conductivity. That will affect how well a material will conduct electricity. So this is the sigma term. Inverse of sigma is called resistivity. So conductivity, resistivity. Resistivity is inverse of the material, inverse of the conductivity. Term sigma is called conductivity. It only depends on the material and temperature. We have already seen the tau value depends on temperature. If temperatures go up, electrons will start moving faster, and mean time for collision decreases. So as the temperature increases, tau decreases. We'll come to N value also. So what we understood, we have related drift velocity to current and also related to field. Okay.
Sir?
Yes?
Sir, you made me the co-host, sir.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Would you mind? Just keep an eye on the class. Be careful. So just keep an eye. You have a double role today. Okay. So just keep a strict watch on this. Let's see how your performance is. We'll judge by the end of the class how well you manage the class. Okay. Any problem, Gayatri?
No.
Okay. So
Sir?
that's a good idea. One of the students can be made as a co-host. Next time I'll ask you to take the class as well. Okay. So Gayatri, since you are co-host, were you paying attention to the class as well?
Sir?
Were you also paying attention to what I was saying, or you were busy with the post duty?
No, sir. I was listening to the class.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. So maybe I'll just change that part. I maybe made a mistake. I'll listen to it.
Okay.
Sir?
1 minute, I'll change that part. So, where is Gautami gone? Yes. Yes, okay. I think your name came right next, so I made a mistake. Okay, so now I can. Okay, so let's continue the session. So I hope all of you understand how drift velocity gets related to current. So what is easy way to keep in mind? All the charge which are present within the length equal to Vd will cross the cross section in 1 second. All charge which is present in what length or free electrons which are present within the length equal to Vd will cross the cross section in 1 second. So once we understand that part, arriving at the value of current becomes easy. So it becomes equal to area into Vd is volume, into N becomes the total number of charge particle, into E becomes charge on each particle, that becomes the total charge. And EAVD is the current. Now let's look at, so we have also related what the parameters conductivity depends on. Yes, Vignesh, do you have any question?
Yes, sir. Sir, does the value of N depend on temperature?
Yes, we'll come to that part. And we'll discuss also, see, logically based on whatever you know till date, do you think the value of N should depend on temperature? And why? What does N indicate? N indicates number of free electrons. And you know, you have done atomic structure. For any electron to get detached from atom, it needs energy. So when we heat it up, when the temperature
So
becomes
more
higher,
electrons will be.
more electrons become free.
More free electrons.
So it makes logical sense. The number of N will increase with temperature.
If N
It depends on
increases, tau
material
decreases, right?
Huh?
If N increases, tau will decrease, right?
If N increases, no, tau depends on speed which it is moving and the distance between atoms, ions. Tau doesn't depend on how many electrons are present. See, more number of free electrons present, it doesn't mean electrons will colliding with each other. Electrons are tiny. Still, we can neglect.
They only collide with the ion.
Yeah. The ions are still, see, ions, see, we are not different. When we calculate tau, we are not differentiating between ion and atom. Both are same. Both they are larger size. So as far as tau goes, we are talking about collision or any nature. Okay. So tau will remain. Tau depends only on which thing? Interatomic
Temperature
and the speed at which it is moving. Only two things. Okay. So let's move on to the next part. Okay. And actually, we can Ohm's law was made much before we had this detailed understanding of drift velocity. But still, it is possible to deduce Ohm's law from what we have done now. So we have arrived at an expression for current NEAVD. Can we deduct Ohm's law from here? Yes, we can. Original Ohm's law, there was no derivation. But with the current knowledge, what we have is possible to even derive Ohm's law based on this equation. So let's take this case since Ohm's law involves voltage. So here also I should have a battery, I should have a potential difference. So what we had done, earlier case I have indicated the field. Now I have added a battery also here. So battery is connected across two ends of a conductor. Potential of the battery is V and length of the conductor is L. So by now all of you understand if cross-section area is uniform, E into L will be equal to V or potential gradient is equal to field. So let's come back to expression. I had equation I is equal to NEAVD. And this all of you should remember. What is current? NEAVD. VD is the drift velocity and drift velocity also acceleration into tau. So this is the expression I have. What I want now, I want to bring in potential tau. How do I get the potential term? And why I want the potential term? Because Ohm's law had potential term.
V
So
by L
I
will
can,
be equal to V
E
by
is
L
equal
is
to what?
field.
V by L. So we substitute E is equal to V by L. I get an equation. Very simple, very intuitive. So consider a conductor cross-section area in length is L as connected to battery as shown. So we substitute this value. Field is equal to V by L. We substitute V by L. I find I get a linear relationship between I is proportional to V. What we notice here, if you, what does this equation indicate? If I double the potential difference here, the current also will become double. Or other way of saying is, current in a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference applied across the conductor, which is the Ohm's law. And when we apply Ohm's law, we take V is equal to IR. So we can derive an expression for resistance also from this equation. Let's do that part also. So what is V equal to? V can be written as, if we take it other way around, we transpose it to other side. This equation becomes equal to the same term, L by A into I. This whole term here we had seen in previous case can be written as rho. This is from the previous sheet. This term is resistivity. So what is V equal to? Rho into L by A into I, and which is also called R into I. That's a equation, Ohm's equation. So this equation also tells you what is R. R can be written in terms of rho L by A. Rho being the property of the material and the temperature. Rho depends on what? Rho depends on these terms. So some term, this term depends on temperature. This also depends on the temperature and property of the material. So rho is the property of material as well as temperature. And so what we can conclude, resistivity is the property of material and temperature. It depends on two things. And what does R depends on? R is a combined property of material and its geometry. It depends on the size of the conductor. R is rho L by A. So R is a function of material, temperature, as well as dimensions. 10th dimension, cross section. What is cross section means? Cross section is area perpendicular to direction of flow of current. L is measured along with the direction of flow of current. Other way of saying, L is measured along with the direction in which potential difference is applied. So these are simple definitions. Many of these things you might have done in previous classes also. And most of you should be pretty comfortable with that as well. Okay. So we have linked velocity to current. And in case of current, it was in terms of field. We have linked into potential, and we arrived at an expression V is proportional to I, which is Ohm's law. And we also found we have linked this term resistance to resistivity and conductivity. So in terms of broad formula, what we have so far, broad formula first is VD. What is VD? Acceleration into time. Velocity is acceleration into time. I hope all of you easily remember what the value of acceleration is, which time you refer to. Then we came to current. Current is equal to NEA VD. And then NEA VD, after using that equation, we substituted E in form of potential gradient. We got an expression between V and I. And that expression, resistance comes equal to rho L by A. Rho being inverse of conductivity, which is M by N E squared tau. So what is resistance? Is a combined property of material, temperature, and geometry. So we'll spend some time. Yes, Asha, you have some question?
Sir, how can we say that the field will be constant here?
How can we say the field will be constant? Okay. If area of cross section is uniform, we'll see that also. See, we'll again come to that part. Why would field be constant? One is of course symmetry. If you apply a potential difference, okay, I will come to that part again. See, so perhaps what we are going to do next 15 minutes will make it easier to understand why field will be constant and why, if cross-section area varies, here we are taking cross-section area to be constant. It's a uniform conductor for simplicity. But sometimes the conductor may not have uniform cross-section. What happens in non-uniform cross-section? So once we come to that part, I think you'll understand this better. When would field be uniform? When field will not be uniform? Okay, this is a question. And this is one of the main questions in 2012. Conductor has a uniform, non-uniform section. So we see this cross section is larger and its radius is decreasing in the linear fashion to P. What would the drift velocity? What is this important point here? Pay attention to this point, study current. What we understand is study word has come number of times, and we should be very clear about what is study when we talk about physics. Study means something is not changing with time. What is happening now? If I check it after 1 second later, 10 seconds later, 1 minute later, or delta t time later, the parameter should remain same. That's a study, not changing with time. So what kind of current? Most of the chapter you are going to deal with the study current only. The chapter deals with the study current, stable current, constant voltage is applied. So question is, if
Decreases from P to Q.
Will the drift velocity be same, constant through the wire, or it will be more near Q, or it will be more near P? What will happen? Or something you cannot predict. And I think it's pretty easy. First question we need to ask, we have said the current is steady. But does it mean the current across all cross section is same? What can we conclude? On what basis can we conclude? See, let's see if the current at Q is equal to I. Will the current be same across all cross sections? Actually, in a steady state, we can prove it will be same across all cross sections. Let's prove how. What we have done, I have taken two cross sections here. One cross section, this one cross section, and this other cross section. Let's assume this, initially assume this currents are not equal. This current is I1 and this current is I2. And let's see, is it possible to have different value of current across two cross sections? And let's see one. So let the current across two cross section is I1 and I2. Then what does I1 indicate? I1 indicates net charge entering this. So if I take this, I am taking the volume enclosed by two cross sections. So this is the one cross section, this is the other cross section, and it encloses some space. What does I1 indicate? I1 indicates net charge entering through the cross section in unit time. That's the definition of current. What is I1? I1 is net charge entering the space between two cross section in unit time. That's I1. Okay. And what is I2 here? I2 is net charge leaving the space between two cross section in unit time. Okay, so there's some charge. If I take the space bound by two cross section, some charge is entering, some charge is leaving. Okay. Now, if I say I1 is greater than I2, what would it imply? If I1 is greater than I2, it implies more charge enter, less charge leaves. That would imply accumulation of charge within the space bound by two cross section, which is contrary to steady state. In steady state, things are not changing with time. If charge accumulates, charge will create its own field, it will upset the whole, all parameters will change. So this is one important point, very minor point. Any cross section, if you take a conductor, any cross section, we take the current across any cross section has to be same. Then only accumulation of charge will not take place, it will have a steady state. So we understood current is same. Now if current is same, now it is very clear. If current is same, can N change? N cannot change here, the same material, same temperature, E is constant. If current is changed, product of area and drift velocity has to be constant. It means area increases, drift velocity has to be lower. So with a smaller area, higher drift velocity, larger area, smaller drift velocity. Or drift velocity is inversely proportional to area. That answers your question. Since area is smaller, drift velocity will be more. But what would make drift velocity more? What does drift velocity depend on? Drift velocity depends on field. It's directly proportional to field. So if a drift velocity is more, it means in this case, field in this area will be greater than the field here. Then only if the drift velocity is more. What is value of drift velocity? Small e into capital E divided by m into tau. Tau is not changing, m is not changing, charge on electron is not changing. If drift velocity is more, same proportion, the field has to change. It means if I look at the field from here, field will progressively keep on increasing as we move from Q to P. Which other words means if area of cross section is same, drift velocity is same, field is constant. Okay, so can we conclude that? I think so. So this is a simple question, very simple points, but very basic points, important points. I hope all of you understood. Yeah, Alad, you have some question? Alad? You have any question? Ahlad, any question?
Sir, it should n should change, right?
Tell me.
It should not be the same in both the cross sections, right? It should change because larger area.
Yes, but see, have you understood
a
the
constant.
N is per unit volume, right?
See, what does n depends on? So suppose I ask you what would n depend on, we briefly discussed in previous slide. Number of free electrons per unit volume is not total volume. N is number of free electrons per unit volume. What is n definition? Number of free electrons per unit volume. So it doesn't depend on cross section. That depends on what kind of material it is, and it depends on what temperature it is at. Does it answer your question or something else as well?
Yes, sir. It answers.
Okay, so let's move on. So n is the property of material and temperature, hence will be same for all parts of the conductor. Okay. Only the temperature changes. If some part has a different temperature, n value might be different. As long as temperature and material are same, number of free electrons per unit volume will remain constant. So this was a fairly simple question. So this is something. So I hope you understood last point also. In order to have same current, the drift velocity and hence the field will be higher across smaller cross sections, which makes some intuitive sense. Yes, Ashay.
Sir,
Ashay, you had any question?
here we can't directly say V equals to E into L, right?
We are talking about drift velocity. Is drift velocity related to field?
Yes, sir.
It's related. What is relationship? Linear relationship.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, see, all linkages have to be clear. Ashay, tell me first, what did we start with first? We start with drift velocity. What is drift velocity equal to? If I define simple terms, what is drift velocity equal to? Velocity, acceleration into time.
Yes, sir.
What is acceleration equal to?
E by M.
And what is time there? Tau is time.
Tau, sir.
So that's a drift velocity. Then we link to current. What is current equal to? Because all electrons drift, it leads to net transfer of charge across a cross section, which is current. And we understood current in terms of what is the charge flow in a second. Charge flow in a second is equal to flow of all electrons which are present within the length equal to Vd, which comes equal to NEA Vd. That's current. And then we link to voltage, and now we are analyzing the same part. So I hope you are clear. Wherever area becomes half, velocity becomes double, field becomes double.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the current density,
What will happen in current density?
it will be same all over, right?
Tell me now. So what happens if current is same, area is not same? If I divide same value by different areas, will the current density be same? And we have seen in the previous slide, just pay attention to that part. We understood field part also. Let's look at this. I will just one more thing I can look at. See, previous slide, we arrived at a relationship between this term. What is current density related to? Akash, what does this equation tell you? Field is more, current density are linearly related. So does it make sense? All of them, do they link up? I think all of them link up properly. And so what we happening here? See here, if area becomes half, if the same current has to flow, current density has to become double. If current density has to become, E also has to become double. Okay. So all makes logical sense. I think they're pretty logical and easy, not very difficult point to understand. Will the field be uniform? No, field is not uniform. That's we already discussed. And drift velocity is directly proportional to field. That's the previous point I was pointing to. So I hope until this point all are clear. Gayatri, co-host.
Sir, I had power cut, so I joined now.
Okay, now you are not a co-host. So are you following this so far? Have you understood what he said so far?
No, sir, I just logged in. I had power cut, sir.
Just logged in. Okay. How about the rest of the people? Tejas?
Yes, sir.
Have you understood so far easy?
Yes, sir. I understood.
Kevin?
Yes, sir. I understood.
Understood? Perfectly?
Yes, sir.
Feeling intelligent, but I'm feeling okay, I'm feeling now very intelligent, I'm following everything well. You should feel that also. No harm. Okay. Disha,
Yes.
perfect. Yeah, all linkages are clear.
Yes, sir.
How did it start with? We apply a field. Because of field, there's a force, there's a acceleration, drift velocity. Drift velocity, with a macro level, we can think all electrons moving the constant velocity. Actually, they'll accelerate, stop. But on an average, it can be taken moving at a constant velocity called drift velocity, which is equal to acceleration into time. Then we bring to current, what current is equal to NEA/VD, and then we applied in this case, and we also arrived at one more equation that current density is sigma times E. Okay. So there's simple applications, and we can do some question. Let's try and solve this question, all of you. This is an easy question to solve. I expect all of you to solve yourself. This is pretty easy, and so that we get used to formulas. If we you are going, okay, assuming that we increase the temperature, what change in volume is very insignificant. Will it release more number of free electrons? See, all atoms have already released one electron. You increase the temperature also, it's not going to lead to 2 electrons being released. But wherefore the electrons will be released from outermost orbit. So in case of
like copper has electrons to release, right?
Yeah.
Can get a plus
outermost
charge.
Electron has been released. Okay. So basically in case of in case of conductors, the valence electron already released at the room temperature. So when we raise the temperature further, the value of N does not change. It makes logical sense. Whatever is to be released has already been released. In case of semiconductor, what happens? Very small proportion has been released. As we increase the temperature, number of N increases significantly. Does it make some sense? In case everything has been released, to increase the temperature, also no change in N. In case of semiconductor, only very small proportion has been released. As we keep changing temperature, N keeps increasing significantly. And that's how that defines the property of semiconductor and conductor. Okay, we'll come to that part again. So this is something, and is of that. Yes, some people are raised hand. Any query you have? Anybody has any query so far?
Sir, I have a doubt.
No? Okay.
Sir?
So that's the question is too lengthy. Yes, tell me.
Sir?
Can you hear me now? Yes?
Sir, the value of N doesn't, it depends on the temperature, right, sir? I mean,
in case of conductor, in room temperature, already everything has been, all electrons have become free. All electrons, valence electrons have become free. So there are no more valence electrons to be freed up in case of a conductor at room temperature.
Yes, sir.
So N becomes a constant for a conductor. Does it make some sense why N becomes constant?
Yes, sir. But what if an atom has more than one valence electron in the outermost shell?
Actually, we'll come. This topic will come into semiconductor again. See, it takes lot less energy to free up the first electron. Second electron takes lot more energy. So second electron to release, it will not happen at the ordinary temperature. It is possible to release all but extremely high temperature. So at the temperature like room temperature and plus minus 20-30 degrees centigrade, that temperature is adequate to release all first electron, first valence electron, but second valence electron, not a small temperature gap. It has to have much higher temperature. That's why it remains constant. Okay.
Yes, sir.
In case of semiconductor, significant increase. We'll come to this point again as we discuss the property.
Yes, sir.
We can calculate, but I think thermal velocity, and I'm not calculating. This is something not necessary. Now we'll come to what we are discussing: effect of temperature. Effect of temperature. There are two terms. They are inverse of each other. I think it's easier to remember conductivity, and which makes sense. Conductivity is N. Number of N is more. Conductivity is directly proportional to N. Directly proportional to tau. Why M goes in the denominator? Because mass because basically velocity or acceleration is inversely proportional to mass. That's why mass terms in denominator and e square. So I'm telling this is, you can logically think also why terms are in a particular way. Conductivity is n into e square tau by m. Not a very important formula, but it's good to remember. Thus, the conductivity, inverse of that is resistivity. Let's try and understand effect of temperature. So in case of conductor, as I was discussing, value of n doesn't change significantly. As we raise the temperature, second valence electron also, very small proportion may get released. What very small proportion is 1 in a billion kind of thing, which doesn't make an appreciable difference in number of n. So with increase in temperature, n doesn't change much, but tau decreases. Hence, when you look at this term does not change, tau decreases, hence conductivity decreases or resistivity increases. That's what happens in case of conductor. If you increase the temperature, if resistivity will increase, and since resistance is proportional to resistivity, resistance also will increase with increase in temperature. And most cases, relationships almost linear kind of thing. What happens in case of insulator? The proportion of free electron is extremely small. But since the number is so small, it increases substantially with temperature. So what happens? This n is substantial increase, but tau there's a decrease. One of them increasing, one of them is decreasing. But what is saying, the increase is much more than the decrease. That's why overall what happens in case of insulator, conductivity increases with temperature. The two quantities which are moving in the opposite direction, one is increasing, other is decreasing. But the quantity which is increasing is n. The proportion increase in n is much greater than decrease in tau, which more than offsets effect of decrease in tau. So conductivity increases. So semiconductor, as the temperature increases, it will start conducting better. Or resistivity, so conductivity increases with temperature, reverse. And there's a reason also why they are in the opposite direction. In terms of response to, so if I draw resistivity with temperature, there are few material which are so well balanced that these two tend to cancel out each other. Those material name are magnenin and constantan. Constantan, I think the name has been given because it resistance remains constant. So if I use this material as a resistance, even if the temperature changes, resistance will not change. What will happen in case of conductor? As the temperature increases, resistivity increases, resistance increases. In case of semiconductor, as temperature increases, resistivity decreases and resistance also decreases. Okay. For a small temperature range, variation of resistivity is linear with temperature. So we can write a kind of simple equation in terms of linear relationship. That's what we'll use next. Okay. Effect of temperature. So resistivity, we had discussed the effect of resistivity. Accordingly, since the resistance also is rho times L by A, and we assume the dimensions with the change in temperature, the dimension of material change is very small. We ignore this change in dimension. Resistance also will vary with rho. As rho changes, resistance also changes. So given a conductor, resistance is linearly dependent on resistivity, hence temperature dependence on resistance also is similar. The way resistivity depends on temperature, resistance also depends on the same fashion. And this is a common, since the relationship is linear, if resistance at 0 degree temperature is known, resistance at any particular temperature can be found using this kind of relationship. Alpha is called thermal coefficient of resistance, temperature coefficient of resistance. Okay, and value of alpha. So this is temperature coefficient of resistance. For conductor, alpha is positive. For semiconductor, alpha is negative. So this is a very simple relationship, exactly same relationship we get in case of thermal expansion also. Thermal expansion also, temperature at length T, length at temperature T is L0, 1 plus alpha. So this pretty simple equation, and there's not many variations of this equation. So we'll look at a couple of questions which involve this simple relationship. So this is based on linear relationship. It could be non-linear. In that case, accordingly, the expression will change. Okay. So let's, based on, we just remember this equation. It's easy to remember. Resistance at temperature T is equal to resistance at temperature 0, 1 plus alpha T, T being the temperature. Okay. So based on this, let's solve this question. This question all of you can solve. It's a simple substitution in that equation, this equation. All of you try and solve and get an answer for this. Okay, so this is nothing but simple substitution. First information, second bit of information, write this value, take the ratio, R naught gets deleted, and we can calculate value of T. Okay. This is slightly more challenging than the previous one. Here, two resistances are there. Read the question first. All of you read the question, then try and understand how to solve that question. Okay, again, in this case also, again, give you a couple of minutes. See whether you can solve this question or not.